Those of you who have been struggling with the iOS 14 update, or even before that, seeing ad inaccuracies due to ad blockers and things like that, this is the solution. That's right. We have come out with today the start of the Facebook Conversion API integration. So before we get super technical, let's talk about why it's important and how we're solving for this issue. So on the iOS side, and if anyone's running an app blocker, what's happening is Apple and the ad blockers, and very soon I think a lot of browsers actually are going to stop allowing websites to transmit data back to Facebook. They're going to block it because it's a third party, and what that just basically means is if facebook.com is not the URL you're going to in the browser is not going to allow transmission of that data out to anything other than that domain. And that's what's really causing all of the issues on the Facebook side with the iOS update. So how do we solve for that? So we have this thing called the Conversions API, and it's pretty simple actually. So instead of Facebook normally taking the information from the URL and passing it back to Facebook directly, we are actually going to take that information into our servers and then transmit the data back to Facebook behind the scenes. And basically what this does is it just overcomes that third-party block that's been put in place on the iOS side, as well as on it's going to be in Chrome soon, and of course anybody who's been running an ad blocker for the last couple of years. So all that to say, it's now live in the Workflow Builder. I'm super excited to bring it to you. I think it's going to help all of you instantaneously. If you're running Facebook ads, your accuracy on your tracking will go way up. So let's take a look, dive in, see how it works, and then kind of go through the explanation of how to set it up. Now, real quick, Chase Buckner, as always, doing a way better job on the setup video that will drop here shortly. So if I breeze through it, don't worry, he will have a much better step-by-step video. So you go into the Workflow Builder, and you're going to add a Facebook Conversion API step. So that, of course, is right over here now. Let me scroll down. Right down here, Facebook Conversion API. And so what we're going to do is when you add that, we've got a couple of things we need to put in here. So we need the access token, and I'll show you where to get that, the pixel ID, the event you want to pass. So let's say, in this case, I want to do a purchase event, the value you want to pass back into Facebook, the currency of that value, and then test code, which I'll show you here in a second. So once you've got that in here, now it's like, well, where do I get all this information? So what you need to do is jump into Facebook into Facebook Business Manager, and then first things first, go over to the data sources, and then we're going to want to go into that pixel that you've created, and first test events. So this is where you're going to get your test code. Notice down here, it says within your server's payload, you can ignore all that. The test code is this. So you literally copy that test code, you come over here, and you paste it in. Now, quick note, the test code is for testing. It validates that this is all working correctly, and once you're done, you pull the test code out of this field, delete it, and save it when you're ready to go live. So that's that. So that's the test code. What about the access token? So the access token is, you're going to go to Settings, you're going to go over down to Conversion API, you're going to click Generate Access Token. This is going to give you your access token. And then when you are ready, you also need to hit Get Started, because you also need to choose which events you want Facebook to recognize. Now notice this is blank, and here's the reason why. Before this populates, you have to send those test events before this populates. So I'm going to go back real quick, cancel, and then let's go back into the test events section. I'm going to grab my test code here. I've already got the access token in here. I'm going to go ahead and throw the test code, hit save, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and test this workflow. So I'll be right back. Okay, so let's take a look at what I did here. So I added this person into the workflow. Now, something that's super important here, take a look, attribution source. And so what we know here is this person came onto our landing page, or in this case, submitted our form, and they had attribution data in their contact. So what does that mean? Notice right here, FBP. This is a Facebook identifier, or sometimes it's called FBCLID. If you don't have that attribution information in here, there's nothing to send back to Facebook, so it'll be skipped. So let's take a look at what happened to this person. They got added to the workflow, and then you can see right here, we executed the actual send to Facebook for the conversion data. So you can see right here, here's what we sent as far as the information to Facebook, and then here is the data that came back from Facebook. So now I can see that it's successful. I'm happy with my test. I can go back into Actions, come back in here, and pull out my test code, right? So done. it's simple, but there'll be some gotchas. So definitely look to Chase's video because it'll be way more complete. But what I want to get across in this video is this now gives you amazing control of your ability to report this data back to Facebook. Now, like everything, we try to get this stuff out as fast as humanly possible. So there will be a couple of updates that come along here in the near future. One quick one is the page view is actually in the API, but tying it back to the actual page view in the funnel hasn't been hooked up yet. So that'll be coming out shortly. But everything else is already there. And I think the purchase and the lead events will be some of the best, as well as the calendar booking events, especially. This is going to allow all of you, we're going to use this on our side to really get around this issue. And quick note, none of the other the major systems that I'm aware of, and I checked this with a couple other people just today, this could be your other major funnel builders out there, your Active Campaigns, your HubSpots, those sorts of things. None of them have a direct integration with the Conversions API. So this really is pretty groundbreaking. We are certainly not the first person to ever integrate with the Conversions API, but I think of all the major platforms out there, we are definitely one of the first. So anyways, as always, so excited to bring this to you. I hope that all of you are able to really utilize this to up your game on the Facebook side. Sorry for the long video, but I think it is worth it. And as always, if you have any questions, let us know. But I am ecstatic to bring this to you. Awesome job, dev team. Have a great day.